All right, we thank everyone for joining. At the moment, looks like we have about 43 participants. My name is Joe Winter. I'm one of the principal engineers here at Start Stop or HTH Engineering, and I'm joined by Paul Capuano, our senior tech for Start Stop. And Paul, if you are able to unmute your mic there and say hello to everyone, that'd be great.
Hello to everyone.
Okay, so we're very pleased to show you some of the new features of the Start Stop OmniVersal. We've just added in version 2.031 some new tools for frame-by-frame mode and frame time stamping, which was requested by our customers, and we thank you for those suggestions. We've also added ability to do capture and save of a succession of screen caps of the videos that you are transcribing. In some types of work, it's important to get the exact frame, where somebody did something and time tag it, and maybe down to the frame you want to time tag it. So we're going to demonstrate this. As you may know, Start Stop OmniVersal is a versatile audio, video, DVD transcription system. It pretty much transcribes everything under the sun, audio and video. You can see the complete list of formats. Today we're going to be showing you specifically video formats for in a sort of a microcosm of the new features for time stamping and frame-by-frame mode. So what I've got just a blank Microsoft Word document loaded on my very busy desktop here. So I've got OmniVersal started here. And we're just going to load a sample that's included with the product. And this is a little clip from Back to the Future. It's 6 seconds long, and you'll see McFly here takes his hat off, throws it across the room, and then you'll see Biff with his bat pull the bat up in the air, and he says, "Nobody calls me chicken." So that's the little clip we're going to start with. Now, what you'll notice as a new feature now is below the main video window, and in this video window, of course, you can adjust dimensions. You can have it pop up at a certain spot on your screen. Right now, it's set for on top, so I can be typing what I'm seeing while I'm working. If you'll notice, like, there's a top bar that shows that there's 6 seconds remaining in this clip. There are, if you hover the mouse, you'll see what it is. This is elapsed time. We've just started the clip. And then this is new. We have frames. This is frame by frame. So if this particular clip now, we have information in the formatting area that tells you what type of video it was, what the resolution, like, is it HD? This one's 352 by 240. How many frames per second? This means that this was recorded with almost 30 frames per second. So this total clip is 177 frames, or about 6 seconds worth. So the new feature is if I move over here, okay, I've moved. I'm going to move about 1 second's worth. Okay, you'll see we're at about the 1 second mark, a little bit past. So it's showing an elapsed time of 1 second. It's 1 second up here. That happens to correspond to frame number 33. Now, if I want to advance a frame at a time, okay, look at this. I can slow motion down to the frame. I can select exactly what frame. So if this is where he's starting to throw that hat back out at Biff, right there, that's frame 46. Also, you can do it, if you're just trying to position it and see what frame it is, you can do that way. Another thing you can do is use your foot pedal to do the same thing. Now, this is new. If you go to, this is how you get there, to the frame mode. Okay, let me go back to the way it normally would be. Just a sec here. You go to Configure and Hotkeys. And this is the new function, is you can now toggle between a step amount. That means when you tap the left or the right pedal, this pedal or this pedal on your actual pedal, it's going to take it forwards or backwards, either by the number of frames that are dialed in here. The default is 1 second, so it's a frame at a time. So if you step the pedal forward, I'm moving the pedal forward, it's going to move it forward a frame. I move it back here, it's going to move it back a frame. Now, under normal circumstances, the start-stop OmniVersal will be a step amount in terms of seconds. Now, you'll notice here it says frame amount. Now, we've got the default hotkey. It's you hold down the shift and the tilde. Tilde is that little squiggly thing to the left of the 1. So if I do, here I'm going to do, just for grins, shift plus the tilde, and it changed to step amount. Now when I tap my pedal, it's going to go back by 2 seconds, or forward by 2 seconds. So it's going to take me forward to 2 seconds like that, you see. So that's the normal second stepping. But what you can do, let's say you want to arrive at, you're at second number 3, and that's where you've got some action that you want to zero in on. Just do the shift plus tilde like that. It changes to frame amount. Now your pedal's going to do, if I tap that pedal, it's just going to take me a frame at a time. That's cool. So now you can see things down to the frame. Now beyond that, it's just a simple toggle function, so I can go back and forth, frame step, like that. I'll leave it in frame for the moment. The next thing you can do is you can timestamp. Now, if I show you that, we can also include frame numbers and even capture of what was going on in the video at the time. So you go to Configure and Timestamp Functions, and I'm going to show you the new features. We got this new deal here. If you check this, what's going to happen is it's going to save a series of successive images to any desired folder path that you want of what was actually happening when you tap that timestamp. So for example, if you go here, let me go to my documents so you can see it's getting busy here, so let me just get the documents folder up. Alright, so these are a series of successive screen caps that you could give to somebody. They're full resolution, and they're saved. Each one of these represents when somebody tapped the timestamp trigger. We've probably covered in previous webinars how we do the timestamp trigger, but I'm going to show you again just some different ways it can be done. Get the timestamp window up as well, everything up at once. Alright, so the timestamp can be triggered, or you could enter a timestamp into a document either using a foot pedal. You assign a pedal to do the stamping, or you can have it do it based on how many keystrokes there are before it triggers, or you can do it based on time. That means elapsed time. Every 10 seconds of elapsed time it takes a snapshot, or you can use a hotkey. 4 different trigger methods. Right now I'm going to use just a hotkey, and the hotkey is changeable. Of course, everything can be configured the way you want it, but the hotkey right now that does that is that backwards apostrophe. So I'm just going to use the backward apostrophe to trigger this. Now in the timestamp window, this is the elapsed time. It can be in terms of elapsed time, or it can be elapsed time with an offset. Like let's say that the video started at 1 in the morning, or let's say 1:05 a.m. You dial in 1:05 a.m. and now when you timestamp this, it's everything on here is going to assume that the video started at 1:05 a.m. For this purpose, I'll just use the elapsed time. Over here, we can enter in parentheses, braces. Actually, this is in the user manual. This will do a carriage return or a line feed, or that's old language for new line. Okay, and then over here you'll have anything you can put in for leading or trailing characters. In this case, I'm putting in frame colon, and then I've got pic, P-I-C in braces, which means it's going to insert a timestamp thumbnail with this. Okay, I'm going to just show you. So if I do the timestamp, okay, it just put in that picture of him raising his bat. If I move the video over to where McFly is talking back, do another timestamp, and it'll pop in like that. You can decide how big you want the little thumbnail to be, and you'll see that right now we're exactly at frame 125, and the elapsed time is 4 seconds, frame 125. Tap over. I'm going to go, there's somebody walking in the background in the cafe there, and they walk out of view. Now it's 147. Got timestamp it there. Okay, then there's frame 147. So at the same time we're doing that, we're also making video screen caps, because I turned that option on. And so if we go look here, we'll have a late one here in my documents path with a full size picture. So these are MS. They'll copy right into MS Word, Microsoft Word. And if you go up to time stamping here, for example, you can alter the size of that picture, make it bigger or larger. You can choose whether to crop or not, and see more or less when you're doing your time stamping. Okay, so I've gone kind of quickly, but I wanted you to get a feel for the power of this. It's very useful for types of work where you need to capture evidence or a certain action down to the frame. Some of your clients are going to require that you put in the timestamp either in terms of elapsed time or real time. To show you the real time, if I go here and change this to here, okay, now when we put this in, it's going to add 1 hour and 5 minutes to whatever the elapsed time is. So it's going to be 1 hour and 5 minutes and 4 seconds, I think, when I timestamp this. There we go. So 1 hour and 5, and it must be rounding up to 5 because it's closer to 5. So yeah, probably if I go over here just a little bit, yeah. See, I was almost. It's even rounding up to give you the most accurate. So it'll show you in terms of elapsed time that at exactly 1:05 and 5 seconds that waitress in the background moved by. Okay, so that's just an overview of the new time stamp and frame mode features. There's one other thing that's new that we wanted to make you aware of, is that we've added support now for the Taser body cameras, and a lot of law enforcement is going to body cams. It's still a controversy. You know, if someone walks up to your door and rings your doorbell and you're in your jammies, do you really want your video, your face and your jammies recorded by some guy ringing your doorbell if he's a policeman? So it's still a bit of a controversy, but Taser is deploying free, they've actually got a free offer here to police agencies, a free camera for every officer. That means that you're going to probably see more work. There's any police department that's using this system has ability to send a secure web link, you know, a link you click on to let you view a body cam video, and we've got customers doing that now, and we just added support for that. So if you have one of these witness interviews, or more than likely it'll be something a little more exotic like a chase or a street scene, something like that, then you know you'll be able to watch that and see that with your Taser system. Okay, so Paul, I'm gonna take a break here and let you talk about some of the other features of slow motion and forensic audio control, how we can extract voices from the noise, how we can get rid of interfering noise sources when somebody's hard to hear. And Paul's going to speak about bookmarking, how to bookmark. We have unlimited bookmarks in the OmniVersal product, so you can label and look at those. So Paul, go ahead.
Okay. Joe, you want to go ahead and share my screen, or you want me?
Yes, sir.
Thank
You
you.
should have
All right, thank you, sir.
there.
All right, so everybody should be able to see my screen right now. And by the way, thank you everybody for joining us. There will be a question and answering time at the end. We'll try to give as much time as we can. I'm going to go into noise removal first. Noise removal works on audio. It'll actually extract the audio from the video and remove the offending noise. And it's based on, I'm not going to get too in-depth into it, but it's based on frequency. It removes certain sounds like car noises, dog barking, children playing in the background to a certain level. It's very accurate. I have a file loaded right now that is a very noisy file, and I'm not really sure if you can hear this, but I'm going to go ahead and play it anyways. So there's an awful lot of noise back in behind that, a lot of car noise in the background. And so what I'm going to do is simply, there is actually no settings for this whatsoever within the noise removal control. You just click on the noise removal, and it goes through its process of removing the noise.
Yeah, I'll mention, Paul, that it removes repetitive and white noise, you know, the kind of street noise and stuff. A dog bark's probably not going to get rid of the dog bark because that's in the human frequency range, but it does look for any repetitive or recurring noise sound like water running, wind rushing, cars going by, lawnmowers, airplanes, that kind of thing where the sound is repeated over time. It will remove those.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it. So what I've done is I've already ran the noise removal. It's a small file, so it didn't take very long. Of course, your larger files are going to take just a little bit longer to do that noise removal process. And let's see if you can hear the difference.
Yeah, your audio is very low. If you're able to put the speaker close to
Hold on a second here. I didn't know you couldn't hear my
That's
noise.
all right.
Okay, hold on. Let me go ahead and jack up my noise here. Oops. Jack up my noise. Jack up my, I'm sorry, I don't mean jack up my
volume. Yeah.
Turn my volume up. Oh, I'm at max.
Okay, you just have to get closer, man. You have to get closer.
Okay, let's get a little bit closer. I'm gonna put the speaker right up against my microphone. So stand by, watch your ears.
Cover those ears.
Yeah. So probably getting it's not very good. So put it back in.
So it has removed some of the car noises in the background, and you actually can hear the person speaking a whole lot better.
Can you go back to the before so they can hear how awful it was before?
Yeah, sure.
Just so because we couldn't hear that.
All right, cover your ears. Here we go.
Yeah. So probably getting it's not very good. So put it back in.
So that is pretty noisy. So then all I did, like I said before, is I just clicked on the noise removal tool. It goes through and does the stripping process, and once it's complete, it loads the completed file back into the OmniVersal software. Should not have taken that drink of coffee before I started talking. All right. So and here is the result.
Yeah. So probably getting it's not very good. So put it back in.
So there is, it does take quite a bit of the noise out of the background. And like I said, that is for audio. That will remove the audio. Let me, now, while we're talking about not being able to hear people in the background real well, there's another new feature that was added a version or two back. It's called Boost Amplify. And Boost Amplify, what that is basically an amplifier built within OmniVersal that actually boosts the volume up to 1,000%. And that is that little, you'll see a little megaphone kind of coincidentally, is a little megaphone here. Now I've already got mine set up, but let me show you how this works. You will go into the configure and you'll come down to the Boost Amplify settings. And it's gonna flash up on the screen. Can you all see that real well, Joe? It's kind of like hidden.
Yeah, off on the corner just a bit, Paul, but you can go through it still.
Okay, so like I said, it gives you the ability to the boost the recordings up to 1,000%. We put a big disclaimer, big warning about this because it will blow speakers, it will hurt your ears. So you can preset this. You can set the boost amplifier. You have to actually turn the boost amplifier on, and then you can also mark a setting to retain the settings for every file instead of just the current file. And then of course you can manually select. Right now I have mine at 100%, which would be on a regular computer, on a regular volume speakers settings would be max speakers on your computer. Once that's completed, you can load a file, and I'm going to have to bring my speaker here, and click on that megaphone, and as you can see there's a slider bar. Again, I hesitate everybody to not just adjust it to 1,000% and expect not to lose, I get a little ringing in their ears or something, but you can adjust this down, and just what I usually tell people to do is just play the file, and then if you're all listening,
So it's not beginning of, so it doesn't sound very good. So put it back in.
And raise the volume, and
Yeah. So it's not beginning of, so it doesn't
as you can see,
put it back in.
it boost that volume quite a bit. That's the new boost amplify function. All right. I'm going to load a different file, Joe, so that is to test the. I'm going to show you about speed control, slowing down the speed of the video or audio. My favorite video, by the way. Pierce Brosnan and a little James Bond here. Now, the reason I like the speed control is because it will slow down. It will slow down the video or audio, or it will speed up. And I tell people if you set this to the speed of your typing. So in other words, if you're a fast typer or you're a slow typer, you can take your speed, which is right here, and adjust it either way. And this helps because then you don't have to be hitting that left and the right pedal too much to back up because you miss something. If you slow it down a little bit to your say if you're a slower typer like I am, you can keep up with the dictation. Or if you're a faster typer, then you can speed it up to keep up and actually get through the files a little bit quicker. And then just by clicking on the normal button, returns this to 100%. Now, if I were to load another file right now, it would, if I set this to 80% or 73%, and I were to close this file and reopen it,
It's just amazing, isn't it? Comes back to 73%.
It remembers its last position it was in. And you can actually go in and configure that down here under Define Normal, which is under Configure, and you can actually set where each file will be loaded at 73% each time. And then, of course, clicking back to normal will bring it back to 100%. All right, so oops, let me go ahead and pull that back. And okay, and then with the constant pitch in there, it will not change the voices. I always have a hard time explaining that, Joe, but it doesn't change the voices. So in other words, if you speed it up, they don't sound like Mickey Mouse, or I can never think of a really deep person, but if you slow it down, it doesn't sound like they're talking with a real bass voice.
Like Bluto. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, like Bluto. So, yeah. So constant pitch, all it does is slow down the speech, not the tone or the pitch of their voice.
Very useful.
We had a question earlier that was sent to us before the webinar began about how to save specific positions in the video so that they can come back to them later. I deal a lot with customers that first using the OmniVersal for the first time and do a lot of training. And one of the things that I really promote them to use is bookmarks. What bookmarks is a way for you to mark different spots in that particular file and it's an unlimited bookmark. So in other words, you can move this bookmark every 3 seconds and set a bookmark, just like I'm doing now. Okay, and this does have a hotkey, by the way, so you don't have to use the mouse like I'm using. And you can set bookmarks. Now, the different people that I've spoken with, a lot of people, they'll go to lunch, and they don't want, let's say their computer goes down, or somebody comes onto their computer or unplugs the power or something. Well, they just lost the place they left their audio at. If you set the bookmark before you go to lunch, you come back to this later. I'm going to show you that right now. Come back to this later. We're going to go reload that. All right. And then I'm going to click on bookmarks once it pops up. And you're going to see my bookmarks are still there. And so all I have to do is click on one of these yellow markers, and it takes it to the last, to that mark that I've made. Now again, bookmarkings are unlimited within the OmniVersal software. You can do all kinds of things with it. I'm going to go ahead and clear this. The other thing I like about bookmarking is that you can say, you can type in this little text box down here the reason you made that bookmark. Unintelligible, which is a good reason to make a bookmark, so that you can come back to it later and maybe ask the person that did the dictation, or listen to it a little bit more. That way it doesn't slow you down. You can keep going through your file and then come back later to those spots that you didn't really understand. And by setting that bookmark, it makes that, it copies that text into that bookmark as well. So again, once you come back to it later, the dictator came back, you didn't understand what he said, you're going to show it to him, you're going to load the file. Load the bookmarks, and there's my bookmark. Now, why is that bookmark there? Because it was unintelligible. I couldn't understand what you want. And again, this is unlimited within the OmniVersal software. You can set as many as these. Focusing on the question earlier, where the gentleman was asking, he was setting frames, like Joe was speaking earlier, how he would set timestamp frames in his document, but he wanted to be able to go back to those timestamps and review them or refer back to them using bookmarks. So if you hit your timestamp, you hit your bookmark to mark the frame that you made that timestamp at, so that later on you can come back to it and revisit it or save the picture for whatever you need. So bookmarks is one of my favorite things about OmniVersal. It's a really I can't keep on promoting it. I mean, it seems really simple to some people, but it really will save the day, save you time, and really work out for you.
Okay, now here's my favorite one too, Paul. This is my lazy man's. I've had all my neurons got erased last night, and I'm coming back in, and I don't even remember what I was working on. If you close down Omni,
okay,
and you're coming in the next morning and you're firing it up. Okay, fire up Omni, and you don't remember what file you were working on. You don't know where you were in it. Okay, just click on Window.
Oops, that's right.
And then
this is a good one.
Open last file, last position. Oh, that's too bad. We already killed that one. Normally that'll open up your last video and open it up to wherever you were in the file, wherever you had been playing to. Not to a bookmark, but to where you were last playing. You could open that up again. It should work, Paul. Just open up a video. No, not that, but open up a fresh video.
Fresh one. Okay.
Well, you know, might as well.
How about a little Men in Black?
All right.
All right, and we'll just go ahead and advance it down a little bit, and then we'll go ahead and close it, and then we'll go to Window, Open Last File, Last Position. Huh.
Oh well, it's something not quite.
It's my virus program. I didn't make the change in the OmniVersal software, Joe.
That's okay.
And that's what's causing the issue.
Trust me, it works. We have a lot of people using it. So just a tip for those that want to go to where they last were. That also works. Yeah.
Another one of my favorite that is probably the most misunderstood, Joe, and everybody, that is the Equalizer. Now, as a kid, my dad had a cassette player, or maybe it was a 8-track, in the car, and on the front were these slider dials up on the front. You know, you could slide the dials up and down, and treble would adjust here, and bass would adjust here, and that's pretty much all this is. The Equalizer. It allows you to work with different frequencies, cutting back noise, or increasing, like somebody speaking. You can increase the sound of someone speaking using the Equalizer.
Voice enhancement and noise, specific noise source removal. Like you've got a high-pitched sound like a tea kettle, you've got AC hum from a light fixture, or you've got a motor running that's just muddying up what you're trying to listen to.
And if you're getting if you're getting files, you want control, Joe?
Yeah, I was going to show them the mountains.
Okay.
Do I have? Let's see. Yeah.
Should be back on you.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah. Don't touch the mouse. Let's see if I got it. Do I have it? Yeah, I got it. Okay. Yeah, and I've helped a lot of customers in particular with these kind of issues, and these are what I'm going to call Joe's favorite presets. Okay, and you can save your 3 favorite presets for different conditions. So the first one I'm going to do is called Voice Enhancement, and you just make a little mountain like this. I think we might start loading the presets in the Shift software so they already come this way, because it would probably save people time. But you know, it's kind of an experiment, depending on the conditions you're hearing, whether you want, how much of this you want. But what I've done is I made a little mountain. Human voice goes between 300 hertz up to about 6 kilohertz. Between 3 and 6 kilohertz is where it starts to roll off. Most telephone systems, like your cell phones, you'll notice they don't sound as good as somebody in person. You don't hear all the little S's and T's as clearly over a cell phone. You know, it's a little bit more cropped on the frequencies. So 300 to 3000 is the standard definition of voice frequency band. So if you make a little hump like that, and then you save that as a preset, that's going to enhance voices. All right, here's my second profile favorite, and that would be removing sources other than voice. This will get rid of rustling leaves, somebody rustling papers, somebody whistling high pitch, car noise, background noise. It just filters out those frequencies. And this you can turn all the way down and get rid of all those low frequencies, bass sounds, rumbling sounds, and now you've got a nice voice profile there. That's you're going to hear the voice normal, but it's going to get rid of those out of band noises. Okay, the third preset is the super preset, and this is like use with caution. And why I say that is you got to turn the volume down sometimes, because it's going to really pull the voices way up in level and nothing else but voice. And that's used under extreme conditions. Sometimes what will happen is if you have too much amplification, these levels are set too high, it'll sound a little distorted. So it just depends on how it was recorded. If it was recorded really weakly, this will do a great job. If it was recorded really strong, like overly done when the recording microphone was so close to the person's mouth or something, then this may make it worse. But this would be the ultimate extraction profile, something like that. Okay, so, and then of course at any given moment you can recall these in the future and use the one that's appropriate. So that's my little favorite speech on Equalizer, Paul.
I don't know about anybody else, but I really enjoy that part. That actually is very basic settings that we set when customers have issues with sound coming across the OmniVersal. So I'm so glad you showed that.
Sure, thank you, Paul.
Good. So there's a lot of different things that OmniVersal can do. As you can see, we keep adding things to it and doing more things to help Omni work better for you, make your job a little bit faster, a little bit quicker, a little bit easier to work with. With Windows 10, with the new Windows 10 coming out, the 3.0 USB pedals are being, drivers are being used, so there's a setting for that. Joe showed you the timestamp functions, hotkeys.
Yeah, I'll mention a new one. I see there, Paul, show milliseconds on display.
Right.
That's new.
Yep.
I don't think we ever talked about that one. Two more down.
Yeah. I didn't know.
Yeah, so if you need it down to the thousandth of a second for timestamping or for display, instead of in terms of frames per second, if you need it, you need a precise millisecond count, you can get it that way too.
That is one of the newer settings. Also, one of the other newer settings was the select input-output devices.
Oh yeah.
Where you can change the different output and input. Input being a microphone. If you do some recording through the OmniVersal software, you would set the microphone there. I happen to have mine set to the power mic, but you can change that however you want it. The input be, and then of course on the playback devices, you got speakers, you got headsets, and that you can change the audio output input options. Now you do have to restart the OmniVersal, and the item does have to be plugged in, of course, before Omni will see it. That is one of the first technical support suggestions we give to people, that if they don't have audio or if they can't control their pedal, is to shut OmniVersal down, make sure your pedal's plugged in, make sure your headset's plugged in, and then restart the software so OmniVersal has a chance to see what it's working with. So, Joe, I think unless I missed something, maybe we can start taking some questions.
Yeah, I think it's time for questions. I mean, we only covered a small portion of some of the things Omni will do. We've covered in other webinars like ripping audio from a DVD, or splitting a long audio file into overlapping segments, or the one of the law enforcement favorites, which is silence detection, where it finds where people aren't talking and bookmarks it, so you don't have to sit there listening to silence for 20 minutes. So, yeah.
I think we ought to briefly show the voice tag, Joe. That is another one of my favorites.
Okay. So I think we have a sample in here, don't we, of the voice?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Let's see. It's kind of a really simplistic sample. I'm going to be very nice. It's very repetitive, very short. Simple is good, right?
Simple is good.
We like the KISS principle here at HT.
It's under voice tag, Joe.
Thank you, sir. Okay, voice tag sample. So this is a person just counting to 10 and then stopping talking. That's all they do, over and over and over and over again. And so if we do a voice tag on that, it's going to figure out, oh, she's counting to 10 there, now she's quiet. Now she's counting to 10, now she's quiet. And you can set the length of time that you define as what silence, like that would be 1 second of, she has to be quiet for at least a second, and that gets rid of some of those extraneous bookmarks. You can actually graphically see, and this is an expandable timeline, so you can zero in on any little piece of this that you want. And then if you want to go to where she talks, just click there. And if we move this over, there's an on top setting, so this will stay on top. It's moved us over to 19 seconds where she's starting to talk again. And then, oh, we see she's gone quiet, and the next time she's going to start talking is right here. Click that again, we're down to 40 seconds, and then click it again. Now we're to a minute when she starts talking. So if you want to find the starts of silence, the sound of silence, click on these blue ones, and it'll take you to where at 29 seconds there, she stopped talking. So that's the voice tag.
And the obvious advantage is if you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I even seen interviews and videos go 12 hours long. You don't want to sit here while they ice the guy for 30 minutes waiting for somebody to talk, right?
Yeah. Ice the guy. Okay, Paul. We can tell you're from New Jersey.
Yes, I am.
Oh, goodness. All right. Well, let's take some questions. Let's take some questions, and we're going to be watching these. And if you want, we can unmute you if you want to speak. But on the other hand, I think it's easier if you see the questions area. If you can just type us your question, and we'll answer as we can. I see a question from a customer here. It says, is there an update with the new features available for older Omni versions? Most assuredly there is. And those are free. The free features are, the upgrades are always free for OmniVersal if you are an OmniVersal owner, and you can contact technical support and they will give you a link where you can download a new upgrade, and it'll just overwrite or upgrade your product with the latest features.
You see the question from Karen, which she's pretty impressed with the noise removal. Mm-hmm. She just wanted to know if she could save the file once it's cleaned up, and of course you can.
Yes, you can. You sure can, which is cool. Okay, and I'm trying to expand my window so I can see these questions better.
They're a little hard to see, aren't they?
Yeah, I'm kind of going to the top. Let me just read through this. It says, based on your before and after files, is it safe to you assume you can save the cleanup files in your file? Correct. Yes, you can. Preset optimal voice settings would be great. Yes. Okay, we'll do that. I think we're going to add that. So watch for the release that'll include those recalls will already be preset, and we'll give it little names, our favorite names like voice enhancement, background offending sounds removal, and then super profile or something. We'll give it some names.
So Clara wants to know, some of my media clients want a timestamp every 30 seconds. If I said as an auto timestamp, will it put a timestamp wherever I'm at 30 seconds? 30 seconds, even if it's in the middle of a word, is there a setting I can use that will insert a timestamp in the middle of a word? And I understand where Claire's question is, Joe. A lot of times with the auto timestamp, you'll be in the middle of a word, and the 30 seconds comes up, and it'll put the timestamp dead center of that word.
Right.
And there really isn't any way we can tell the timestamp. Hey, wait till the end of the word, then put the timestamp.
Right. Can't do that. But what you can do is just watch your elapsed time, and every time you get 30 seconds further into it, it'll be 30, 60, 90, 120, 150, 180, like that on your number of seconds there. Every time you see 30 seconds come up, just hit a manual timestamp. Just hit the hotkey, and it'll put it in where you want it after the word. It would be neat if that could be done, but we'd have to be analyzing speech and looking for silent portions, and that'd be an advanced feature. We'll put that on the development list for the future.
Or something for Dragon, huh?
Yeah. Okay. I appreciate the question about the voice tag. That feature is available and works very well. Okay, here's a question from Mario. Why does the program close every time Windows hibernates? Paul, you may have encountered that. What do you think?
That's something within Windows. And believe it or not, they change that all the time. It closes down because Windows does not see it as a service or a main program that I'm not sure if I'm expressing that correctly, but a main program that's running. In other words, when Windows goes into hibernation mode, it looks at what's running, shuts down what it thinks it doesn't need, and leaves the background processes running. Okay, and that's why OmniVersal gets shut down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this would be where the last file, last position would help you. When you come back from deep hibernation after the winter and you relaunch Omni, you can just go to last file, last position. Question from Karen. can you save a file after you've equalized it? The answer is no. I wish it were yes. That hasn't been done because that's a real-time process. We'll put that on the development list. That may be something we can do. It may be we just haven't done that because we haven't got requests for that. So thank you, Karen. We'll look for that. Okay. Paul, what's the next question?
The next question, I'm trying to keep these in order, Joe. It's kind of hard. Karen, how do I ask a voice question about timestamps? I believe she wants to speak to us.
Yeah. Let's see if I can unmute you, Karen. Hang on a second. Looking for you here. You're in alphabetized order by your first name. So here you go. You're unmuted, Karen. Go for it.
Can you hear me?
Sure do.
Oh, great. Thank you. Thank you guys both for doing this. My question about timestamps, I recently helped someone who had a job that she needed to timestamp every 30 seconds, like Claire was mentioning. And it was kind of tricky in her case because every 30 seconds was a lot of silence. So that kind of blew this great system I had come up with for her. But the same issue was when Claire mentioned, you know, where 30 seconds automatic could be in the middle of a word, not to mention you might be typing, say, at the, 25-second mark when the audio is at 30 seconds, and that's not accurate. But I was thinking what would be really, really useful is rather than the timestamp automatically slapping itself in there whenever the audio reaches the 30-second spot, if instead you could overlay another feature that includes like an audio beep of some kind to alert me that, okay, when that person said the word sessions, I know that is the 30-second spot. So when I play my audio and catch up to that point, when I hear him say that word, then I can pick the spot after that word, you know, cosmetically optimal, and I can invoke the timestamp, feature to make sure that it lands in the spot that I want. But I know for sure, I have confidence that it's at 30 seconds because the software told me this is where 30 seconds happen.
Oh my goodness.
You follow what I'm going?
I sure do. Karen, that is an excellent, well put, well thought out idea, and we can do that. We'll put that in there.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I'm sure a lot of people are going to love you if you can do that.
All right.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Karen. Appreciate it.
We'll
work on that. Okay.
Thanks.
Sure. Okay, and let's see. We're back on mute now, and let's look at the questions again. Paul, what else do we have?
Candace wants to know, what is the sound magnifier, and is that different than boost amplifier?
Yeah. Do you want to answer that or want me to?
That one's all yours. That one's all yours, Joe. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, this is a feature that what it does when you turn on sound magnifier, your audio is going to be slowed down to 70% of its normal speed for the backspaced amount. For example, if you've got 2 seconds of auto backspace or repeat and you've lifted up off your play pedal, the next time you hold down that play pedal, it's going to play at 70% for the backspaced portion, and then go back to 100. What that's for is, let's say somebody's saying, okay, I want you to get this address, and here's the phone number, 555-122-121-121, like that. Okay, and you say, holy mackerel, they just spit off a string of numbers. I can't get it that fast. So you lift up off the pedal. If sound magnifier is enabled, then the next portion, if you watch this here on Paul's screen, it's going to, if sound magnifier is enabled, see how it goes to back at 70% and during the backspace portion. So when I hit play again, it goes to 70%, and then when it gets past the 2 seconds of backspace, it goes back to normal. All right, so here I'm proceeding normal. I've got the play pedal down to the floor. Okay, now I'm going to lift off the pedal because that person spit out a string of numbers real fast. and it goes to 70. So it gives you a chance to slow down just what you missed is the idea of the magnifier.
6, 7, 8, 9.
So that's that feature. I hope that explained it.
Okay. Let's see what we got here, Joe. I'm seeing some repetitive questions.
That's okay.
Let's see, Watson, here we go. I have to put timestamps after the name of the individual talking. Is there a way to make a macro that would incorporate the name of the person with the timestamp?
Oh, certainly. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's so fun and so easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can say right now, I can say on Paul's screen, I can say Mr. McFish biscuit.
Oh, you're making me hungry now.
I know. And then we'll put a space after the timestamp like that. We're not going to do frame number for now. We'll do just in terms of elapsed time. And we'll put Mr. McFish biscuit colon, and then then we'll put in the timestamp. Let's see, a timestamp, a space before and a space after should do it. And I'm not going to enable video right now, or timestamp saying. Okay. So do you have like a Word doc?
Let me just hold on a minute, Joe. Sorry, I wasn't open. There we go. Let me pull over that to the main screen.
That'll work, yeah.
Yeah.
And then tap the hotkey. You'll have to. I think you'll have to enable hotkey there for that.
I don't think I did. Yeah, I don't think I did. Let's see. I've been messing around. I changed it.
Mm-hmm. I can show it on mine if we have to. Looks like it's.
Yeah,
is it set up in the timestamp window? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hotkey.
Well, let's just switch yours real quick, Joe.
Okay. Yeah, you've been playing too much with yours.
Yes, I do. I play a lot.
Yeah.
I try to break it. That's my job.
Yeah, it is.
Try to break it so I know how to fix it.
That's it. Okay, let me find my screen to take over the presentation for a moment. Alrighty, so you're back to my screen. So yeah, if that's easy. Your question is yes, you can do that, and you just type it in here. You type in the name of the person, Mr. Smith, and you know, we take this other stuff out for now to make it simpler. Okay, and open up Word, load a file. Let me clear this off. Okay, all right. So got a little video here, and I'll go to a certain spot in the video, and I'll just type that in, and it'll pop in. Let's see. I don't know what's going on with my timestamps right now. Okay, we might have to move on. I'm having a bad hair day right now for this. Why mine's not working? We'll take a look at that. But yes, it does work. We've done it many times. You just put in the characters, leading characters or trailing characters. In fact, it was working a minute ago. I think maybe let me try a video that I might have had a bad video there. Let's see. Sorry to eat time on the webinar for this at the very end, guys. I tell you what, we'll get back on that question because we want to move on and finish. I do want to make clear to everybody that we do have a special discount for those attending the webinar today, and it's a $20 off upgrading to any OmniVersal product. So if you buy the full system here, or the software only, or if you're a previous owner of Universal or OmniVersal and you want to upgrade to the Universal or PowerPlay, the previous customer, you can upgrade to OmniVersal for a low price, and it's going to be $20 off the 99 or 79, and the discount coupon code online is 20 off Omni is the discount code. Or you can just call us and we'll provide a $20 discount off of any Omni purchase. Okay, Paul, back to you. I'm going to make you presenter. What else do we have question-wise?
Actually, I think that was it. The only other question I see on here is from, I believe it's Ann. I'm trying to find her question. It looks like we answered all the questions. I'm just trying to, there's one other that I think we missed. What is going on here?
Okay.
I think my computer's getting tired of all my talking. That it's taking its, oh, here it is. Is there an update with the new features available for older Omni versions? And that would be no. You have to actually upgrade to the 2.0.31 to get all the newest features.
And they are free. Those upgrades are free if you already own.
That's correct.
Yeah. There's a question here that I saw that didn't quite get answered. It was sometimes the equalizer doesn't make much of a difference in the sound. Is there a best practice approach? Great question. The answer is yeah. Once in a while, the recording is the person who made the recording or the way it was made is so awful that you can't do much to improve it. It's just so awful you can't do much. The best advice is if you can identify with your brain, you can say, oh, those are high frequencies. Those sound like high-pitched sounds. I think I can dull those down by going on the equalizer here, you know, and minimizing the high end of that spectrum. Or if they're low frequency sounds, I'm going to move those sliders down and just try playing it with those different settings. That's the best practice, and we will add those presets. So that's a great idea. Thank you.
Yes. Unless we have any other questions, Joe, I don't want to take up any more of anybody else's time. Please remind me, my name's Paul. Again, my name's Paul Keppel, and I am the Senior Tech here at HTH Engineering. And you all can call us at 866-254-0714 for technical support or any questions about the webinar or any questions you have whatsoever with the Start-Stop software.
Right. If we didn't get to all your questions and you still have a question, you can email us. Our general support email is techsupport@startstop.com, and we would be more than happy to help you individually, or if you're looking for a new purchase, we can provide a demo copy, a trial copy that'll run for a few days so you can make sure it works. If you want a concierge dollar tour, not the nickel tour, but the dollar tour, we're happy to log onto your screen and install a trial for you and let you try it. So we want you to be totally happy with it. So thank you all for your attendance. We appreciate your time, and have a wonderful rest of the week and a nice weekend. We thank you again.
Thank you all.
All right. Bye, everyone.